Why did it have to be you? That cold question hit me like a slap. It was my mother who said it, her voice sharp and icy, cutting through the silence in the living room. Her eyes, filled with something that looked like hate, stared right at my belly. I couldn't say a word. My name is Maran, I'm 25 years old, and I'm a housewife. I have an older sister named Tara, she's 3 years older than me and has always been the one my mother favored. For a long time, I hoped things would get better between me and my mother. I thought maybe if something good happened, like if I gave her her first grandchild, maybe she'd finally warm up to me, maybe she'd see me differently. So that day, when I went to visit my parents with my husband, Warner, I was nervous but hopeful. Tara greeted us first. She smiled brightly and hugged me. "Maran, it's been so long," she said with her usual cheerful voice. Dad wasn't home yet, he was still at work, but Mom was there, and from the moment she saw me, her face tightened. She didn't say anything at first, but when she looked at Warner, her fake smile appeared. "Oh, I didn't prepare anything special for you too," she said, already walking toward the kitchen. "Just wait a second." She came back with a tray full of homemade cookies, sweet, sugary ones. I don't even like sweet stuff. She knows that, she's always known that, but when we got married, Warner mentioned he liked sweets. Of course, she remembered that. Then, smiling at him, she said, "Oh, that's right, Maran doesn't like sweets, does she? I'm sorry." It was obvious she wasn't sorry at all. Warner, always polite, just smiled and said kindly, "It's not about the food. It's about who I'm eating with." Mom gave a little, "I see," and sat down on the couch. Once everyone was seated, I took a deep breath. My hands were slightly shaking. "We came today because we have something important to tell you," I said carefully. Mom's eyes narrowed like she already knew what was coming. "Actually, I'm pregnant." For a moment, no one said a word. The room went completely silent. Tara was the first to speak. She clapped her hands and smiled brightly. "Maran, congratulations." But my mother's face became darker than ever. She didn't say a word. Warner's phone rang, and he stepped outside to take the call. Tara went to the kitchen to make some tea. And then it was just me and Mother. Her expression changed in an instant. She leaned forward slightly, her lips trembling with anger. "Why did it have to be you?" she said again, her voice low but furious. Before I could say anything, she went on, "The first grandchild should have been Tara's, not yours, someone like you." And then it happened, something I never thought she would actually do. She stood up, and without any warning, kicked me hard in the stomach. The pain hit me like a shockwave. I screamed and dropped to the floor, curled up in agony. "Mother, what are you doing?" I heard Tara shout. She had come back into the room and saw it happen. Warner rushed in right after. "Maran." He ran to my side and knelt down. I was clutching my stomach, tears rolling down my face. Tara was already calling an ambulance. Warner held me close, his eyes full of worry and anger. Mother stood calmly in the background, acting like nothing had happened. "She's overreacting," she said casually. "She just bumped into the dresser." But Tara wasn't having it. "No, Mom, I saw you. You kicked her. What is wrong with you?" I could barely keep my eyes open. The pain was too much. I held on to Warner's hand like a lifeline. "It's okay," he whispered. "I'm right here." Tara's voice was shaking. "What if something happens to the baby?" We heard the ambulance sirens getting closer. As the paramedics lifted me onto the stretcher, I looked back at my mother. She didn't even look worried. She just stood there, her eyes cold as ice. That stare told me everything I had felt my whole life, that she had never truly wanted me. Tara climbed into the ambulance with me. Warner said he would follow in the car. Tara held my hand the whole ride, crying softly. "I'm so sorry, Maran. I never saw it before. I didn't know it was this bad." Her words meant more than she knew. Even through the pain, I realized how much she had always tried to be kind, even if she didn't fully understand. Lying in the hospital bed later that night, memories of my childhood came rushing back. When did it all start? When did Mom begin to treat me so differently? I couldn't remember exactly. It felt like it had always been this way. Mom used to be a local beauty queen. Even now, she still looks stunning. Tara looks just like her, same smile, same shiny hair, same perfect features. People used to say, "You must be Patricia's daughter," and Mom would glow with pride when they said it to Tara. But I took after Dad, And that, to her, was always a disappointment. I remember Christmas when I was 8, Tara was 11. There were presents under the tree. Tara got a beautiful, fancy dress from a brand everyone admired. Mom said, "It's perfect for Tara, she's my daughter, after all." Then I opened mine. Inside was a plain t-shirt and a pair of jeans, cheap ones, probably from Walmart. "These suit you better, Maran," she said without even looking at me. I didn't say anything, I just nodded and sat quietly. It wasn't just the gifts, it was everything. At mealtimes, Tara got bigger portions and homemade desserts. Mom would say things like, "Eat up, sweetheart, you're growing." But when it came to me, she'd say, "That's enough, Maran, you don't want to get chubby, do you?" In high school, it became even more obvious. Tara was popular and became a cheerleader. Mom went to every single game, took photos, and told all the neighbors how proud she was. I was on the track team. I was good, really good, but Mom never came to see me run, not once. "I'm busy," she always said. Only Dad came sometimes, and even then, he didn't see what was going on. He'd pat my head and say, "Good job," and go back to work. It wasn't until my best friend, Serena, said something that I started to understand. "Maran, your mom treats you so unfairly," she told me one day. "My mom would never do that." It hit me then, this wasn't normal, it wasn't okay. But Tara didn't see it. She thought I liked simple clothes. She used to offer me hers, but they rarely fit. The worst times were when I was alone with Mom. "You're such a mistake," she'd say. "Tara was enough. I didn't need you." Every word felt like a knife. I learned not to cry in front of her. Crying only made things worse. When I turned 16, Serena and some other friends surprised me with a birthday party. They gave me a little makeup set, and I still have it. It meant the world to me. That was the year I decided I had to leave. I had to get out. I planned to become independent as soon as I finished school. Mom told me, "You'll never make it with just a high school diploma." But I didn't care, that only made me more determined. Tara went to college. Mom paid for everything and said proudly, "It's worth it for Tara." But for me, there had never been a college fund. So I studied hard, got good grades, worked part-time at a diner and saved every cent. And now, lying in that hospital bed, I realized something important. I had made it, I had survived. The monitor beside me beeped steadily, and the doctor said the baby was safe. Thank God. I'm not that scared little girl anymore. And I swear, I will never, ever treat my child the way she treated me. The sky outside the hospital window was turning orange with the setting sun. On my second morning in the hospital, Warner came early. I looked at him and asked, "What about work?" He smiled gently and said, "You're more important." And I knew in that moment, I was finally safe. I felt so happy when Tara congratulated me with a big smile. She even offered to help with the wedding plans. That was a surprise. Even Father said something nice for once. He nodded and said, "He seems like a good young man." Our wedding wasn't big or fancy, but it was filled with warmth. People who truly cared about us were there. Mother smiled in front of everyone, acting like she was happy, but during the reception, she leaned in and whispered in my ear, "I don't think this marriage will last." Her words didn't hurt me like they used to. I had changed. I had learned to stop letting her break me. After the wedding, Warner and I began our life together. For the first time, I felt what it was like to have a normal, loving family. Warner's parents welcomed me with open arms. My mother-in-law would gently teach me little things, like how to make his favorite stew. "Your dinners are always so tasty," she would say, smiling at me with true kindness. Work was going well too, thanks to my past experience in customer service. I got promoted and even started training new workers. My lack of a college degree didn't matter anymore. I was doing just fine. About a year after our wedding, I found out I was pregnant. Warner was over the moon. He laughed, picked me up, and twirled me around. Then he ran to tell his parents. They were thrilled. They immediately brought over baby catalogs and started planning everything. But I felt nervous. Telling my own family was a different story. I had a bad feeling about how Mother would react. And yet, deep down, a small part of me still hoped this baby might finally change things between us. I hoped she would be happy to become a grandmother. Warner said gently, "I'll go with you." So we told Tara we were coming, and set a day to visit. Looking back now, That day feels like a nightmare. As I lie in this hospital bed, the soft scent of the flowers Warner brought fills the room. I remember his quiet words that day after the attack, "It's our turn now. No matter what happened, I have him, I have our baby, that's the happiness no one can take away. Ma'am, it's time for your checkup." The nurse's voice brought me back to the present. The soft beeping of the monitor continued. I let out a deep breath. I knew things wouldn't be easy from here on, but I had already decided I would not go back. The doctor came in and said, "There's a small fracture in your pelvis, but luckily, the baby is safe." Everyone sighed in relief. Tara held my hand tightly. Warner nodded and wiped away a tear. But the peace didn't last. The door opened again, and in walked Father, with Mother right behind him. "Maran," Father looked shaken. He had just found out what had happened. Mother acted as if nothing serious had happened. "She just bumped into the dresser. It wasn't my fault," she said coldly. Tara stood up, her voice firm. "Stop it, Mom. I saw everything. You kicked Maran in the stomach." Father's face turned pale. "No, that can't be." Just then, a social worker from the hospital arrived. She spoke kindly but with strength in her voice. "Can I speak with you all for a moment?" Mother suddenly burst into fake tears. "Everyone is turning against me. I'm the victim here." But nobody believed her. The social worker spoke firmly. "This is clearly abuse, and since the victim is pregnant, it's even more serious." Mother went quiet. The social worker added, "I can report this to the police, but if you prefer to deal with this as a family first." Tara looked at me. "Maran, it's time, let's talk about everything." I took a deep breath. "Yes, I'm done hiding." I told them all what I had been holding in for so many years, how Mother treated me unfairly since I was small, how she always acted like she loved Tara more, how she said hurtful things to me when no one else was around. "Dad," I said with a trembling voice, "you didn't see it because she only acted nice in front of you and Tara. I thought no one would believe me." Father's eyes filled with tears. "I'm so sorry. I should have seen it. I didn't know." Tara cried too. "I'm sorry, Maran. I didn't notice either. I should have been there for you." Suddenly, Mother stood up and shouted, "It's not my fault. She was always ugly and useless. Tara was perfect, just like me." But she froze when Father stood up and said loudly, "You're not fit to be a mother. I won't let you hurt Maran anymore." The social worker added calmly, "I suggest getting a restraining order, and counseling, for everyone." Mother screamed and tried to lunge at me, but Warner and Father stopped her. Nurses rushed in. It was chaos. Later that evening, Father quietly said, "I'm going to divorce your mother. I'm sorry, Maran. I should have protected you long ago." Mother was investigated, and a restraining order was granted. She went to stay with some relatives but kept sending angry messages. One said, "You ruined everything. I'll never forgive you." Tara visited me in the hospital every day. She held my hand and said, "This time, I'll help you build a new life." Warner's parents came often too. My mother-in-law brought homemade soup. She looked at me with warm eyes and said, "You're our daughter now." When I was finally discharged, the doctor gently placed a hand on my belly. "Your baby is strong and healthy." Outside, the spring sunlight felt soft and warm. Warner pushed my wheelchair. Tara and Father walked beside us. At that moment, I realized, I had a real family now, not perfect, but loving. Before we got into the car, Father hugged me. "From now on, let's really live as father and daughter." I nodded, tears in my eyes. The long, cold winter of my life was finally over. A new season had begun.